What's up, everybody? It's your boy Chaos, so welcome to a new episode of Take It to the Table. I am joined by an esteemed panel here, and with me and my really jittery internet right now. I'm currently slowing down. I don't know what's going on, but anyway, we'll carry on. It is what it is. It's live. It's uncut. It is what it is. And yeah, obviously, I got like I said, an esteemed panel here, and I'm starting with obviously to my right is none other than Soul. How you doing today, Soul?
Yeah, fine. Obviously, probably people are wondering why I'm not wearing the suit. One, it's late. Two, it's in the wash. So I thought for you, I thought I might well bring a classic look.
Oh, OG.
Vintage.
Oh,
we're going vintage and retro for this
Hollywood
one.
Soul.
Nah,
Yeah,
like he's up in the Highlands. He's left the stuff for me, so he's away off watching Dog the Bounty Hunter. I'm just borrowing his stuff for the time being. So yeah, retro, legacy, whatever it is, it's history, and let's get into it because whatever this debate's going to be, I'm going to need a few for this one.
Oh my, yeah, this is going to be spicy. I'm liking this old school Soul. I like this. It's been a minute. We've missed you. All right, cool. Of course, down below is none other than El Jefe, Ben Allison. How you doing today, sir?
I was having a great day until I was cooking some salmon earlier. So I opened my window like anyone would when you're cooking fish to let the smell out. And I live by a river, right? And obviously it's almost summertime now. The spring's about to start. And I go to shut my window after dinner, and not even exaggerating, on my wall next to my window, there's about 100 to 200 of those small flies in the corner. And they've been flying. I've managed to get rid of most of them, but there's still a few just flying around. I swallowed one on the daily. It's not a fun time.
That's why you don't live in London, folks. It's a shithole.
You're not wrong.
I was so not expecting that, but damn, I'm sorry to hear that, bro.
Ben is Mowgli now. He's living in the Jungle Book, man.
100%. Oh man, I do not miss London. Let's just say that I didn't. You would definitely not get that up here in the summery countryside of Wales because it's not summery here at all. Anyway, and last but not least, you may have seen him on Wrestling Off the Air. It's none other than Shad. How you doing today? How you doing today, sir?
You throwing them twos up? I am good, bro. It's been a while since I got an invitation to the table, and you guys are getting Ramadan Shad. This is what I call myself this next month or so. Coming in with a lot of peace, tranquility, but hot takes. So I'm sure I'm gonna ruffle some feathers today, especially the guy above me over there.
Peace and tranquility. I don't know those fucking words.
Wait, they don't exist at the table.
If memory serves me correctly, what was the last time that when you was doing the poster game and you thought WrestleMania was the Saudi Arabia show? Am I correct? No.
Yeah. We bringing up old stuff now. All right.
Sorry, that couldn't be helped. That is one of my favorite moments ever on Ticket to the Table. I just gotta say that. But fair enough. Welcome everybody. Yeah, we've got a stacked show. We're going to be obviously talking about about a week or so ago, as of this recording. Man, Ben went on a little rant regarding the lack of minutes that are being offered to the women's matches on AEW, especially that was evident on Revolution. So we're just going to deep dive into that a bit because he had a rant. He didn't really give anyone a chance to really rebuttal or anything. So, and obviously we have Soul, a huge, probably the biggest fan of AEW. So, we wanted to obviously bring that to the table. Obviously we're going to dabble into who we think is probably the worst WWE signing ever. I want to get everyone's thoughts on that. And also maybe a little dabble of guess the WWE pay-per-view 20 questions as well. So that should be very, very interesting. So far, there's been no one's won it. The last one was David and Ignacio. They got it wrong. So yeah, let's see if you guys can do better than them, shall we? So strap in, grab some popcorn. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Hit that notification bell. And without further ado, let us take it to the table. So let's start off with, of course, the rant that Ben obviously went on about regarding the lack of minutes for women's matches, and like I said, that was very evident on AEW Revolution between Toni Storm and Deonna Purrazzo. In fact, without me even boring you with how it actually happened, let me just play the little reel they did on the Wrestling Republic's Instagram.
I loved AEW Revolution. I thought it was a great show, but I hated how the women only got 12 minutes on a show which had 160 minutes of in-ring action on it. I honestly, it's indefensible at this point. It's insulting to that women's division which put so much time into their work. I mean, Tony Khan, right at the start of the company, said that he wanted to give equal opportunities to both men and women in AEW. But since the company started, he's shown anything but that. And let's be real about it. How many times do we bring it up? In fact, at times, I feel like we don't bring it up because we're so sick of bringing it up. But we shouldn't do that. Why? Because this women's division deserves an equal chance. They put in that work. They have that talent. And when we're talking about talent, since it started, everybody said, oh, it'll change when they sign this person. That person then signs. Guess what? Nothing changes. And it's just over and over and over and over again. And I know the Toni Storm versus Deonna Purrazzo match didn't deliver. I know that. But it was only given 12 minutes when they had, in my opinion, the third best story heading into that event. 160 minutes of in-ring action, 12 minutes of it about the women's division.
Wow.
I said what I said.
Yeah, he stands by it. So yeah, he was just spitting hot fire right there. Obviously on that reel, the people in the comments were pretty divisive. Some people agreed, some people didn't agree. Maybe it's obviously people not really connecting with the Toni Storm character or whatever or not. Especially when you said it was the third best storyline on AEW programming. So yeah, I just wanted to obviously gauge everyone else's opinions on this regarding does everyone agree? Or is there a fair argument? Let's just start with Soul, if you will.
Fuck me, makes me at times like these I wish I was doing Ramadan so I don't have to be fucking poignant for this. Right. So obviously I was there, right? I was at Revolution 2024 and I loved it. One of the best shows I've been to experience-wise. And I've got to say, from being in the arena and from speaking with fans before the show, after the show, having a few pints and everything, it wasn't something that was really brought up as a complaint. Mostly people were talking about the Stings stuff, talking about the AEW World Championship match, the free, which was amazing. But as an observer as well, I think it's not only just, I think it's also a society problem as well. Because I've joked, and as I saw at Revolution as well, when the women's match came on, people went and left for either merch or food or toilet break match. It's a very bad stigma women wrestling have. Now, before, again, I get into anything as well, I love women's wrestling, right? I've interviewed many great women's talents, from the likes of Nightshade to Dani Luna, who holds a tag team championship in TNA, to UK talent-wise with Nightshade, Daisy Jenkins, Ashley Vega, Nicole Jasmine. So I've interviewed many others. I love supporting what they do, and I know how hard they fight to get on these cards as well. And the thing is, like, the one women on a match thing show, it's not just a big company thing. You see local promotions here in the UK do it as well, unless you're Pro Wrestling Eve, which mostly focus a lot on women's wrestling, or even sometimes Riot Cabaret down in London as well, they'll do it. And if you look at it, a lot of them just have the one women's match, either it's for a women's championship match or it's just one women's match. I know Wrestle Carnival had it as well, which is a promotion down south as well. They've done it. I know sometimes Rev Pro have done it as well. Look at the match that Ospreay and Oku main evented. The only women's match was Dani Luna versus, I think it was it Kanji or something like that, or it was something like that. There was only one women's match on. So I think it's more of a society problem as well about the one women match stigma. You can't just throw it on, AEW. Well, they have done that a lot. Don't get me wrong, they have done it a lot. It's more of a big associating problem. Now, of course, as well, about things with the women's division as well in AEW, they had built stars in the past. They built up Jade for the longest time, who then left. And, that's a blow. That's a blow right there. Now, immediately people are going to say, well, they could have built other people. But here's the thing. Look at AEW's roster. For every great women's wrestler, there's at least 5 superstar male talent there. that's just the way the business has been for the last 20 years, that the male talent especially have been given that highlighted, and that period which we're exiting now with the likes of Cena, Adam Copeland, Lesnar and Reigns and Rollins. A lot more men got built up in that time than the women, and now we're entering a period now, especially where I believe where women are getting that built up now. You look at people like Jordan Grace, Thunder Rosa, Britt Baker, Mercedes Moné, the Four Horsemen as well, with Bayley, Becky, and Charlotte. That time period there is where really women wrestlers became superstars. For the longest time, it was just men. Men really got that elevating platform. And because we're exiting that period now, and we've got new women stars rising up that are getting, high spot matches. Look at what TNA did at Hard to Kill, the Ultimate X women's match as well. They had the tag team match as well, and the women's match, 3 women's matches as well on. But the sad thing, I think, with modern society and wrestling as well, and the way the landscape is, as I've said before, for every great women's superstar, there's 4 men to sadly go against that. And I think that's just the way the society has been and the business plan has been for the longest time. But as we enter this new era and new decade we're going into as well, I think there will be a lot more women who can now classify themselves as superstar. Look at Mercedes Moné as well, jumping to another company and now being the highest paid woman, I think, according to reports in wrestling or maybe just in AEW. And if it is, that's an achievement to have. A woman getting paid that much for the job. Excellent. I'm not one of these people who are like, oh, I don't want women matches at all on my show. No, fuck that. I'll happily take some women matches on. I want to see people like Deeb. I want to see people like Julie. I want to see Sky. I want to see Thunder. I want to see Anna Jay. I want to see Athena. I want to see Hikaru Shida do more. I want to see Rio as well. I want to see them on as well. As I said before, I am happy with the AEW product when we've got a show on that's like Okada and Kingston, and you've got Copeland and Christian. Now, yeah, we have a tag women's match tonight, Thunder Rosa and Deonna Purrazzo against Toni Storm and Mariah May. Great, as well as Rampage is on tonight live as well after Dynamite, where you've got a legendary street fight with Willow and Stat versus Sky and Julia. And those women hardcore matches in AEW have been something that I've loved. Like, I still look at the one that Ty J and Penelope Ford and the Bunny had at New Year's Eve. That was one of my favorite matches from AEW. That was an amazing hardcore killer match. And then you get people on the internet like, well, no, women shouldn't be like that. They should just be the bra and panties and pillow shit. Nah, fuck that. If they want to go out and show, hey, we can do this and bleed and, leave our bodies battered in the line, go for it. Support it, show it, and tell these people to shut the fuck up.
I mean, you to be honest, you've just spent 5 minutes backing up the exact point that I said. Because the only way for them to get that spotlight is for them to be given more of a spotlight. You've just said you want these people to be given more opportunities, and you've got to give them the opportunity.
But if you go to my point I mentioned, there's sadly more male superstars than there are women stars at that point. Now, of course,
it doesn't matter. You can still choose. You have enough.
No offense. If I'm a TV network guy and Tony Khan comes to me with a card and says, hey, I've got this card here. It's like, oh, Diamante versus Kiera Hogan. Why are we putting this match on when we could put a superstar talent who's recognizable like Bryan Danielson or
Britt Baker?
That's not the thing is this though. That's not the entire case. You had a match that was on the 0 hour that was a more built feud with a women's champion in the match that couldn't get on the main card, but you're throwing a multi-person match for the fuck of it. Like it's a poor excuse in my opinion. And I think you agree with what was said on the clip. You're just kind of giving them like leeway for it just because it is what it is in a sense. Because think about it like this, man. I know y'all gonna laugh and always make fun of me for saying it, but I review Tuesday nights. NXT probably has on paper the weakest roster of women's wrestlers because they're all brand spanking new to the business. They're all green, yet they're primarily booked in matches every single week in main events. Sometimes there's more women's matches than men's matches. AEW doesn't have a lack of talent of women's wrestlers. You just named a whole bunch that are super talented that are probably more over than a lot of the men on the roster. Like it is a point where it becomes an excuse, as if we just let it be an excuse. Like a lot has changed since Revolution. We have a catalyst signed to their roster. Last week was a good start. I'm hoping this is the future of it. But if we're talking about the totality of what AEW does, there isn't an excuse. They have a lot of women stars. Britt Baker is a star. Thunder Rosa is a star. Hikaru Shida is a star. Athena is a star. Like,
Yes, good question. Where's Britt Baker?
That's my point.
The thing is, people are injured and
She's not.
stuff like that.
She said she's not injured.
Well, then, like, I'm not Tony Khan. I can't make the decision of who I put on my show. He puts on what he puts on for a show, and sometimes it works.
None of us are, but we're hypothetically speaking.
It's an excuse. That's what it is. It's ultimately an excuse.
Well,
right?
I'll say this right here, Alison. Say you book in Dynamite, right, and you could put on a card, right, and say the TV networks, because at the end of the day, you have to abide by what the TV networks are. They're paying for the license. They're paying,
and they don't look at the cards each week. That doesn't happen.
Well, look, you don't know that. That's what they could do. They could come in and say, well, we're organizing your TV rights and we want the stars on. We want the people that people know from 10 and 20 years ago. That's why people like Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy get booked on Rampage matches, because they are big names that people know. Whatever people are going to scroll up there, they're not going to scroll up and see a Kira Hogan or a Diamante match. I don't
know why you keep bringing them up when there's like another 20 names more well-known than them in that division.
Well, that's the common names I'm going to go with, because there's people, because when AEW started, they didn't have the women's star power.
You're right, and they do now.
WWE signed everything up. At the time when AEW started, they had mostly Joshi wrestlers who didn't live in the United States. They had to abide by the visas. And when the visas ran out, situations come in and they have to go back and wrestle in Japan. Now, they had somebody in a star powering role with the likes of Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa, and then they got Jade. Then things went on with the championship reign, and when it got to Thunder Rosa, it was going good. But Thunder got injured. Then things happened with Tony going around to his interim championships. Put it on Tony. Things happened there. Then it went to Jamie Hayter. Jamie got injured. And then they had to put it back onto Tony. Then it went flip-flop again.
These are, again, excuses when you have this many stars in the division. It's got nothing to do with the
Saraya,
championship. It's excuses.
Ruby
it's just
Soho.
excuses.
Here's the thing, though. Women do get, sadly, a negative thing on it. Look about when Saraya joined AEW and then got the championship. Everyone was complaining. Why you put the bell on her? She's not good. She's shit. She's terrible. And then whenever people, like, look at our poll, right? Saraya beat Jamie Hayter in the votings for the best European wrestler. I don't think a lot of people would agree that Saraya is a better wrestler than Jamie Hayter. People are going to vote for her because she was in WWE. That's
true. That's true.
Yeah, but she's on AEW though too.
Listen, if Jamie Hayter, obviously she's injured right now. But if she was on every single week, right? When Paige was in WWE, she was on every week. Like it or not, WWE, who, by the way, I still don't think on the main roster showcase enough women, still give women's wrestling a significantly, on average, triple the amount of time AEW give their women's division. And WWE don't give the women enough time, in my opinion. And guess what? With Triple, they've created stars such as Becky Lynch. They've created stars such as Rhea Ripley, who are outdrawing most of the men's division, who are outselling most of the men's division. It's very easy in wrestling, right? It's very simple. The more spotlight you give to people, the more, they grow and they watch. Of course, you need those stars, right? But you need a few stars on an episode to draw people in. The rest of it, you can build up talent. That's what you should do. And that's what Tony Khan hasn't particularly learned. And when he has developed talent, and this is in the men's division too, more often than not, he drops the ball. MJF, Darby Allin are the two huge exceptions to that. And that's a separate argument, I know. Also, the UK independent scene I want to quickly go back to. Can't compare it, right? I've spoken to multiple UK promoters throughout the years, and a lot of the time there's not that many. It's changed in the last couple of years, but a few years ago especially, there weren't that many women's wrestlers in the United Kingdom, so it was increasingly difficult to be able to book multiple women's matches on the card, even when people wanted to. For Tony Khan, he has over 40 women signed. He can do it.
Yeah. What I'll say there as well, right? If you were when I was at Revolution and nobody was complaining about it, what do you say to that? The people that went
I'll tell you what, right? Whenever people are being, oppressed or whatever, the people who aren't in that situation and the ones who aren't being oppressed generally don't stand up, right? And that's a very dramatic view to take on this or whatever, but it's true. If it doesn't affect you, most of the time people aren't going to say anything. So that argument, if you look at history, I don't think you can use it.
To your point, there can be two things that are factual. And it can still be an issue as well. Like you're right, Revolution was a phenomenal show. Everything from start to finish was damn near perfect to a T that you can create for a pay-per-view. But there's still it's the bigger picture, right? Like you have and it's not, and to Ben's point, it's not. I'm not trying to. AW in the Revolution is obviously the focal point off of the clip, and we're talking about that. This is a dynamic that needs to be fixed in wrestling in general. Like I agree 100%. There's a lot of like incredible women's talent that are more over or more talented than men's wrestlers, and they should get the fair amount of time on the television as the men do. And that's like you're not gonna make the change unless you put in the change. And I to your point on the Revolution, there's a few matches on that card that you could have like penciled out and
Oh, yeah,
added at
100%.
least one of a women's match. Like there was literally a women's match on the buy-in that should have been on the main card. Like
Yeah.
Julia Hart is a champion on your entire like promotion. Like I know she got to wrestle in front of all that crowd, but she should have had the due diligence to put her on the main card. I don't care about that fucking battle royal. Like I don't care about that shit. Like they don't.
That's AEW. That's AEW's like they're known for that though. Sometimes it's overstuffed with a lot of filler matches. I think there was
Yeah, that's
it's
that
a
kind of
long-term
that
problem.
stuff is that kind. The
What,
thing is
what,
this:
what, I'll, what I'll
if it
say
was
as
a
well, like if it was put on the main card, put it in the main card, that's fine as well. But it's put in the buy-in, it's put in the buy-in for a role. But I will say as well, say All In, right? All In comes around and we're given, say we get a fan vote, right? We get a fan vote, right? We can have the main event of All In this year be Ospreay versus Swerve or Jimmy Hayter versus Mercedes Moné, both for their respective championships. Which one do you honestly think people are going to want to see as the main event?
That's an absolutely dramatic
I think you could.
viewpoint, which has got
I
nothing
think
to
you
do
can
with
make a
the
debate
original
for it.
point.
I think you can make a debate for it. I think Mercedes Monet is a more focal point as a wrestling superstar than Swerve and Will Ospreay. So if you
Exactly,
have her
Shaq.
in the
That's
mix,
why. That's why
yeah,
there, because it's Mercedes Moné who's a star who has done stuff because she's had the backing of the WWE machine. Look at WWE. They're a
So
company that
AEW should back their wrestlers. Mercedes Moné was nothing. Sasha Banks was nothing when she came into WWE. This is my issue with this argument. It's just
right.
completely
Hang on,
nonsense. And
right.
it's
No.
going
I
round
gotta
and
make some
round.
points here. I gotta make some points, right? WWE is 100 million subscribers on YouTube. They're a company that's been around since the 1970s odd. They're been established. If you say wrestling to somebody, they're gonna mention it's WWE. AEW is a company that's been around for 5 years, who's got only 5 million, just barely 5 million subscribers on YouTube. They only have 3 million subscribers or followers on Instagram, while WWE have hundreds of thousands, right? You can't compare these two companies. They are completely different. Yes, they're in the wrestling bubble, but they're completely different with the audience reach and the way they've been in presentation and how long they've been for. When you're a company that's been around for nearly 40 odd plus years, who has that reach, who has that expanse, sorry, you're going to get seen more and you've got more of a pushing. AEW and WWE can't compare. I know AEW call out WWE all the time. Tony Khan's done it on Twitter. No, honestly, I don't like it because it's basically just poking the shark. You're a little kid poking the shark. You're not the same level as that, right? WWE is a completely different beast. It's an absolutely completely different beast to AEW. AEW is the starter kid. WWE is the veteran.
That's a fair point. That is a fair point, right? But at the same time, WWE being a bigger company comes with bigger issues. They have stockholders to answer to over everything. Everything that they do, every move they make will get scrutinized by people who have actual control of the company, right? Whereas AEW, it's just the fans and sometimes the networks that they are hearing from. So AEW can get away with doing a lot more. If they want their company to succeed, right, long term, they're going to have to take risks and they're going to have to back women's wrestling more. If you want women's wrestling to succeed, right? Because guess what? AEW, and it's already happened a couple of times, so it's going to come out in the next year or something if Mercedes Moné really doesn't lead to them having multiple women's matches a night. It's going to come out in the next year, or Forbes or some big media site. There's going to be a big hit piece on AEW, not giving women's wrestling enough of a spotlight, a big social media movement and all of that, just like what happened to WWE. And then AEW are going to be like, oh shit, we haven't built most of these women And then they're going to have to just throw tons of people who they haven't built on the card instead of building people up slowly. And they're going to be in a lot worse of a situation because, like it or not, AEW are going to have to showcase more women's matches because the court of public opinion, I mean, the fact that they've gotten away with it this long is actually shocking, to be honest with you, when they're actually showcasing women less time than WWE were when the entire Give Divas a Chance movement started. Like, I don't get it.
I'll say as well, like, honestly, with TNA, I did praise them as well for the hard kill, but they haven't really been given the share of respect to it as well. Remember when TNA were changing all their belts and announced all the designs, right? Remember how they did all that on their social medias? They did the world, they did the knockouts, they did the tags, they even did the digital media championship. But they waited until like the night of Hard to Kill to reveal the knockout tag titles, and that tag title match was just thrown on the card with no build, no announcement.
That's because the people weren't in the country for them to do it because they were over in Japan. That is why on that
that's
one.
Bullshit.
That's a complete unbelief. No, it's not bullshit.
Bullshit.
They can't. They were the rest of them were in. The rest of them were in the United States the week before.
Say they're cowards and not answering the challenge, and then just be like, well, we've got our new belts and we're going to do an open challenge, and then Decay come back. I don't care if they're not in the fucking country. You can still, this is the digital media age. Nothing's going to stop.
But they didn't have the titles.
You have the
didn't get the titles until the week before when they were in Japan.
You can do all this.
I don't watch CNN to make a comment on it.
You can't do it. You can't do it when the titles arrive when people aren't in the country.
Why have we not had an Evolution 2? Why have we not had an Evolution 2?
Because WWE decided to give women.
Why have we not had an Evolution 2? Why have we only had one women's main event? And if you're saying,
do you know why we had Evolution? Do you know why we had Evolution?
Do you think it's fair that Bayley and Io Shirai should be kicked off the main event on night one because The Rock's came back and decided to swing his dick around? I don't think that's fair.
Yes, because he's a huge draw who's going to get more eyes on them, right?
So why can't AEW do that then? Why can't they not put on a star?
Because they're still going to be on the card. That's
because there's matches, because there's legitimately matches on that Revolution card that could have not been on the card, and you could have replaced it for a women's match or a women's feud. I'm gonna always divert back to that multi-person match. That match did not need to be on the card, like, at all. You could have a lot of those guys have gotten their opportunities to eat. The problem I have with women's wrestling in general, and that goes with all promotions, is that there's not an equal opportunist in regards to booking. The only opportunity women's get booked on pay-per-views or in major storylines is if it's tied to a title, and that's bullshit, right? Yeah. Tony, Deanna, the whole Julia Hart thing, that's it. You got a bunch of women chilling in the weeds that are talented, that are probably more popular than a lot of dudes on that Revolution card, to be real with you. Sheeta is probably more popular than a Daniel Garcia at this moment, or whoever else is on a Wardlow and shit. You know, Athena was renowned women's wrestler of the year. Why not you put ROH title matches on AEW shows? Why don't you put Athena? Why don't she get a title defense on a Dynamite or something like that?
That's a good point, actually. They've defended the ROH title so many times.
If I gotta watch Tweedledee and Tweedledum fucking defend that bum ass ROH tag team or trios tag, if I gotta see old ass Billy Gunn and his baby boys feud for the 987th time in the last 2 years, but I can't get Athena, who is the best belt for belt women's wrestler and one of the best belt for belt wrestlers on your entire promotion. That ain't cool, bro. That's lazy shit, and it goes to WWE too. I agree with your point on that. Like, Becky and Rhea Ripley is a match in a feud that should probably be a main event, but
I don't know.
I agree, it should be, but NEU when The Rock is not involved.
It's because Dwayne is here, and and that's understandable. And that's the thing about that too. I'm not saying Deanna and Tony need to be the main event of Revolution. No, their placement was just fine. I'm just saying that we could have, like, and I'm not even, like, I'll be honest with you, I'm not tripping too hard about that point. I do think more minutes should be allocated, and I do think you could have had an additional women's match on it, especially when you have 2 women's champions. I'm not. That's my only gripe on that. My whole issue with AEW in general is that we get one women's match every single week. You can't say that about the main roster right now. Even though theirs is not as good, I saw Becky and I saw the tag team match. I saw another match on Raw. SmackDown has a couple sometimes until
So
The Rock came in and talked for 900 minutes. But
so basically, AEW is kind of going through what WWE did before the Revolution era, where it was just like you get a one throwaway women's match, and it's usually for 3-4 minutes. Obviously, the women's do get longer in AEW. I'll give you that. Like Willow against last week's match with Willow, that was a great match. Rio. So no, I understand that. It's
they're getting better.
Got to give. Something
I don't know if they are getting better. I don't know. Actually, statistically, nothing's fucking changed since they've started. And it's 12 minutes in a 160-minute pay-per-view is fucking embarrassing. That's my final point.
One thing I will say is that the one thing that annoys me with AEW is that they sometimes only react if there's like a backlash, and then they just do it for like a week, and then they go back to the old ways. Like when we saw that the infamous person with the sign saying fix the women's division. Like I think shortly after they did like they were more apparent on TV, and then it's back to square one. Yeah, it's weird. They have a really bad habit of doing that. But yeah, you're right. Eventually, it's gonna get to
and to your point, that's a like when we do the review show every Thursday, like that's something that I've noticed too. It's like I'm gonna give Mercedes the benefit of the doubt because she's undeniable.
It might be a change.
She's undeniable, and she's also a large investment. Right, you're investing a fuck ton of money. You know, rumors has it. I don't like addressing rumors, but they're saying she's getting a nice purse for this time in AEW. You got to use her, and it's not even a fact off of being paid. It's also the fact that she's the most important person in the locker room, damn near, that you've got in the last some odd years, maybe since they signed Moxley, right? Like she's got to be a catalyst. You have to make it a focal point for it. Because I didn't see a lot of Taya Valkyrie was a person that was a coveted free agent, came in, did the feud with Jade. Now she's on ROH. Ruby Soho was on that same card. We saw Danielson and Cole debut. Was a big moment for her. And I was like, okay, this is going to be interesting. Got a little bit of a shake, but she's been booked to be a notorious loser a lot of it. You know,
and going
on dates. Saraya too. Saraya's a legend. As much as I'm not a big fan of her now as an in-ring wrestler, this is a person who's probably gonna be a Hall of Famer, right? And there's a legend in her own right for what she's done in women's wrestling. And the allure of her is just kind of wiped off now. She's doing the same dumbass feud with Ruby. Like, they gotta make it an effort, man. And I think Britt Baker I know all these. Here's the thing: you can't listen to these internet fans. These internet fans don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
I agree. Because
Britt Baker is the true pillar out of them 4 pillars. After MJF, she is the second pillar. She is a more important pillar than Darby, Sammy, and Jungle Boy. And she should have. They should have covered her and treated her like that.
I agree. It's fucking bullshit as well. It's fucking bullshit. Well, the internet fans were saying when Baker was on TV, people got sick of her. Like, we don't want to see Baker, and Baker was like, "All right, cool."
People were sick that she was the only one being given the one match a week, and everybody misunderstood it as people were blaming her when people were actually blaming Tony Khan.
They do the same shit. People do the same shit with Charlotte too. It's like, no, Charlotte's not bad. Charlotte's probably arguably one of the best women's wrestlers of all times, if not the best women's wrestler of all time. It's just how you book it. And I agree with your point on that, Ben. Like, it's just we don't want to see her be the only one. Or now I want it. Like, I miss her now because now that we got a whole bunch of and they've dropped the balls on storylines with her too. Like her and Hater.
How many?
That shit didn't get a payoff. That was
it doesn't feel like it. No.
I mean, someone else say as well, because I've talked a lot about AEW. I'll talk about the old Fed, the old WWE right here.
Yeah, let's get into it.
I don't want there to be any women tag titles anymore because they have never been booked properly. I want a women's mid-card title. I don't want
No, because you gotta have equality. You just book it better. If people can't figure out, if they can't get their heads out of their asses and figure out how to book a storyline, then guess what? Fire their asses and get new bookers in. Because guess what? It's not a hard thing to understand. They deserve an equal chance. That's the bottom line in it. And if some dumb fucks in creative can't figure out how to book it, fire them and get better
How long have these women tag titles been around?
It's gotten
right? He introduced an NXT women tag team titles. They've had only 8 champions for that title, and then binned it because it was shite and pointless.
It wasn't shite. It wasn't shite.
Pointless.
It was pointless.
You could use the NXT.
The first 2 women's to win those tag team titles in the NXT won them the first day and then lost them the same day as well. That's not a good start for that booking of that title reign. And then it ended up just getting merged into the women tag titles we have now. Never been booked properly, never been given a good amount of story time. If you could at least put them in a mid-card title, don't just do a female intercontinental, just don't do a female United States. Give it its own identity, give it its own name.
I agree with that.
We can have a good feud. Imagine if Candice LeRae and who's the winner from Alpha Academy? Maxine, right? Imagine if that had a mid-card title belt on the line. That would give that more stake, right? Imagine if we had something like Tatum Paxley and Laya Valkyrie, if they were on the main roster and had a mid-card title to feud over. That'd be so much better.
Those are tag teams, though.
One, but they shouldn't get rid of the tag titles, and it's expensive.
Every time these women tag team titles have been involved in a story, it's gone to pish. Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler.
Shit creative. Not the women. Why punish the women?
I'm not blaming the women for that. I'm blaming the fucking creative. But then if they're never going to get any better, then just either fire their creative, and if a new creative come in and they still make them shit, then they're pointless.
What makes
Jax and Shayna Baszler are the only good women tag team championships?
No, Bayley and Sasha was the best women's tag team. Bayley and Sasha was a great tag team.
Yeah, they were. And Chelsea Green did a great job as well with her.
Sasha and Bayley. Sasha and Bayley were the best. They were easily the best women's tag team. They were so good.
It's because obviously the timing was awkward because that was the pandemic era, so you kind of forget them in it. So it's a bit.
They were the most interesting part most weeks.
They were the best shit on WWE during the pandemic, damn near.
Yeah. I'm sorry, like those belts are lovely. They are absolutely
Nia and Shayna were ass at a tag team. They were garbage.
They were memorable. That's the thing I remember about these women tag titles. And every time these women tag titles never ended. Trish turned on Becky as well, and then lost them. They just chucked them. That whole Money in the Bank match with Shonda and Shayna, where Ronda just attacked Shayna, and then it was like, all right, we'll just chuck the titles.
Yeah, that was ass.
That was shit. I'm not excusing the booking, Soul, but just because the booking doesn't mean you should get rid of the titles, which are giving women opportunities. Right? What it means is you need to the creative team need to just do a better job. They need to, as I always say.
I'm all for giving people a chance. Right? I've had wrestlers from the LGBT community, and they always ask me, like, well, I don't know what championship I could go for because I don't identify with one particular identity. I understand that, and that's shit to have because you don't know where you fit in, right? But equality for the sake of equality isn't good. You're just doing something to appease a mild audience. You actually have to have something.
No, it's not, though. The audience is there. The viewership is there. Look at the numbers of the WWE product.
If you just do equality for the sake of equality, then it's just pandering, and that's not good for anybody.
That's not pandering.
This goes back to what I said initially. You don't need to have more titles to get people on television. That is such a scapegoat to get people on television. You can create storylines amongst women's wrestlers just like you fucking do with men's wrestlers. Like, there's no difference with that. Nia Jax and Becky Lynch literally had a feud that technically didn't really have to do with the title. I know Becky's got the match for Rhea coming in, but that was a feud upon history. It was a good story and had a great blow-off match. It helped Becky look strong going into her next bout, and it made Nia Jax look even stronger as her return going into it. You can do shit like that. You know, this whole Candice LeRae being the world-class hater, that's something different. That's something new. Like they can do stuff like that.
I like that as
AW
well. I like that as well. And I also hate the double standard. People are giving her shit while Christian's going on about dead dads, and Drew's about hating Punk. Good man, Drew. I love you for that. But people
That's 'cause
giving
she's a
Candice
woman.
shit for hating on Maxine, that's bullshit. Allow them to do that. That's good stuff. It's like when people were giving shit for the hardcore match in AEW. If the woman can do something the man can do, and then they just get shot on it by the IWC because that's sadly the culture we live on in the modern day, then that's bullshit. I don't agree. I don't agree with
It's
their
actually though. It's a very slim majority, very slim majority of fans who actually think that way, right? And the ratings will show you that. Now, like we always talk about, those small minority have a large voice on social media. Why? Because they're a lot of the time incels who live in their mother's basement or whatever, and they go on there and they're like, "Oh well, I hate women. Let me go and tweet my thoughts about women's wrestling." Blah 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 blah. Because most people who might like it, guess what? They have a lot to do with their day, and they're not gonna go and. I mean, listen. The reality is you're a lot more likely in life to tweet something negative rather than positive, and that's bad. But that's that is social media. So they're not going to be going and tweeting something positive because they're right, with a day. It's all of them, to be honest with you.
Yeah. No, that's fair enough. Oh man, that kind of spun out of control, but I love it. This is what we're here. This is what the table is for, ladies and gentlemen. We spent 40 minutes talking about women's matches, and all that stuff. So they just kind of spiraled out of control. But yeah, it's all good. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments, if you will. Do you agree with anything?
And another thing, let's forget it.
There we go.
Let's go to a lighter topic. Psych, I lied. Let's go to a lighter topic now.
Yes. Boys. Yeah, fuck that guy.
And to a more lighter topic, we're gonna talk about signings. And yeah, I just wanted to get your thoughts on just wanted to spin this question out there, and it's who do you think out of all the 40 years, let's just say of the latest 40 years of WWE's history, who in your opinion was the worst WWE signing? Like, it can be past, present, just someone that probably they signed and never had a match. What's the first person that comes to your mind? Who do you think that was actually one of the worst signings in WWE? Let's start with El Jefe. What's your pick? Who do you think?
Well, I mean, there are some external reasons on this one, but Cain Velasquez really
for fuck's sake,
wasn't a great signing, was it? I mean, that was, just absolutely. He came in, he faced off Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar got the win back against him, and that was that, really. And he was hyped up as a big, next big thing signing. The other one, I actually didn't think she was too bad in her second run with the company, but it lasted like a couple of months, and that's Eva Marie. She came back. She just, did a couple of things. She was good. She showed that she understood the business a lot better than she did the first time. She was doing some really good work as a heel, and then they just kind of just didn't give a shit, and they got rid of her. So I mean, she's got to be up there too, because it was just like, well, why did you bring her back if it's not like she really did anything wrong in her return, and he just brought her back and just out the window again. So I mean, that was shit. Cain Velasquez and Eva Marie, 0.2, I guess, off the top of my head, are the two shittest.
The fair dues, yeah, those are epic failures, especially Cain Velasquez. I mean, the fact that what burns me is the fact that Kofi got squashed for that dumbass feud for this a championship match in Saudi Arabia, which we all know was it wasn't gonna change hands at Saudi Arabia. And like he just went back to AAA or whatever it was, and then that's it. And then we all know what here. What about you, Shad? What's your pick of the worst WWE signing?
Man, this one is difficult because there is quite a few, and for me, I feel like it's more so signings that it ain't really too much on the wrestler themselves. A lot of it can be on the booking, but for me, it's got to be when they picked up Scott Steiner, Big Papa Pump, that go around after the whole WCW stuff, and he had that feud with Hunter, where it was just wasn't good. Scott was just old, slower. They had him 2 matches. I think one was at like the Rumble, other one is at No Way Out. He just was a shell of himself. And then they kind of just booked him into the dirt. They booked him in matches that really didn't matter. It became one of those cases where, like, I think they really only signed him because he was one of the last like WCW dudes that had a lot of notoriety. And it just didn't work out. And he ended up having like kind of a piss poor attitude. He was kind of fed up with them, and it was an epic fail. My honorable mention though, it gotta be I also gotta say Awesome Kong when she signed. Remember that when she was in WWE?
yeah.
They did nothing with her at all. I think she
Well,
signed at a bad.
that's a bit unfair though, because like it was just bad
I
timing.
think she, yeah, it was bad timing. And I just don't think they knew how to use him. And that's Vince for you though, man. He only gonna go for the women that he his nasty man mentality is, man. So,
Yeah.
but Awesome Kong was there's a couple people. I feel like Sin Cara also gets a nice little honorable mention too.
Oh,
Wait, what was our Awesome Kong's name? I think was it named Karma?
Karma, yeah.
He beat
Yeah,
Michael
Karma.
Cole in the Rumble.
Yeah, she did debut in the Rumble. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that was a cool debut. Besides the slap botch, but we move on. Okay, fair enough. So what's your pick since Ben Allison has taken your picks?
Hang on. It's in here. Where is it? I don't have a pen. Right. Oh, okay. Nathan Jones.
Oh dear, yes.
The guy who was meant to have a team of Undertaker against Albert and Big Show at Mania. Apparently got a rub, but then he just went to a Melbourne house show and then quit. Another person I'll mention is Kevin Thorne on the new ECW, the vampire guy.
Yeah. Yes. That was awesome.
Yes. Or maybe Braden Walker. Yes.
Knock.
Knock. Who's there? Braden Walker. Or maybe who was the guy who won the ECW title of Christian? Ezekiel Jackson.
Hey, Ezekiel Jackson wasn't that bad.
Nah, he was.
Sorry. They're my picks because I literally pulled them out my asses like these guys with their careers.
Nice.
You know what? Muhammad Hassan got to be there. He might not be the worst signing, but he's one of the worst like gimmicks of all time, man.
Timing was that boy's enemy.
Yeah, that was timing. That was bad timing. But even then, like, I mean, they don't even acknowledge him on the network. They just say like, this guy is making the net. I'm not even joking. Like, he's not even
Muhammad Hassan.
Yeah. I was watching like old episodes of Raw, and when it says like the next episode, it says like this guy attacks Undertaker. It doesn't acknowledge him. It's so weird.
Have you ever? You remember when it was him? He had like a debate with Jim Ross and Jerry King Lawler. It was him and Daivari had like a political debate.
Oh,
and
God.
like Jim Ross was like on some hardcore like conservative rhetoric. He's like, if you don't like it over here, you could get out. And then he attacks Jim Ross.
I can totally imagine J.O. like that as well.
He attacked Jim Ross right after that.
Get out of my country, boy.
Muhammad, get out, boy.
My goodness.
Oh man.
Very
No.
My pick is something of kind of some of more recent
of Velveteen Dream.
So who? No, not Velveteen Dream. No. Someone better. Gable Stevenson.
Oh fuck yeah. Ooh.
Yeah,
that's a bit harsh.
What a dumpster fuck. What do you mean that was harsh?
Yes.
Not even started yet.
You know you're shit when you got Baron Corbin.
If you are watching this, I hope you hear that back. Because no, he is 100% right. And me and Drizzy had the same top. We had an off-cam conversation watching the show yesterday. Why is Gable Stevenson's younger brother 5,000 times better as a WWE superstar than he is?
Make sense.
But he's still been competing in wrestling. So he's not actually full-time I think he is now, but I think until very, very recently he was going to compete in the Olympics. And he's under
fire right now. Like I don't really want anything to do with him because like some old tweets resurfaced and
Yeah.
it's not looking good for him right now. So yeah,
Don't quote me. I think they were proven, from what I was told, that they have been definitively proven false.
All right, we're gonna quote you on that, mate. That's
Don't
good.
quote me on that, but that's what I was told.
But the issue with him is that everyone is putting him on the pinnacle of like, oh, he's gonna be the next
Angle.
like Kurt
Yeah.
Angle, and like that's
where you go
highly offensive to Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle
but
is
his
one of
introduction,
bro.
His introduction was poor. Like the fact is, you signed him, he gets drafted to Raw. Don't hear nothing about him. Sure, he's gonna train for the Olympics. Fair enough. Then all of a sudden, he's on NXT. He's obviously siding with his brother through that
And
underground.
He was at Mania. He was at Mania where he like suplexed Chad Gable too. I
yeah,
think, right?
like again went radio silent. Then he goes to NXT, does that stuff, and then you make him have this weird ass 6-minute match against Baron Corbin to a point where the crowd is booing Gable and cheering Baron when it's supposed to be the other way around.
It sucked.
They were cheering Baron Corbin, bro. Baron Corbin does not get cheered for anything, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
They made Baron Corbin a babyface in that situation.
Right now,
where he was the definitive heel.
Hopefully, our boy Clark doesn't see this because I know he loves Gable.
He still could come back around yet, though. He is only 23, which is easy.
We'll see. He's going to be in the Andre Battle Royale Mania Memorial thing.
Dude, the thing is this. I don't know. The thing is this, though. Like, the only thing notable about him is what he is an Olympic professional wrestler.
That's
like, he's got personality of a fucking like wet paper bag, bro. Like he's got
wet paper bag, mate.
Like Clark, my guy. He's like, yeah, he got charisma, man. I'm like, I'm not seeing it. Like, I don't see the charisma. I think he thinks this is the problem with sometimes with wrestlers. I feel they get in their mind that I need to really be a character. I need to be very theatrical and stuff, and it comes so unauthentic, and it becomes so cringy and corny, like and super forced. And that's kind of like his case, and that's how it is for a lot of these people in NXT too. It's a lot of like, you know, shitty like Disney Channel like sitcom like acting.
No, that's true. I do want so the reason why Clark says that, this is a point Clark always says, is when he was, you know, wrestling in high school, he used to, and in college, he used to come out with like an entrance theme, and like he was like really like known to be really charismatic. Now it's very different doing that in, you know, a gym compared to in front of a lot of fans, and that's a huge learning curve. And hopefully he can do it. He's still young, and so he's been training for the 2024 Olympics. So he had the one run with WWE for the Corbin match to make his debut, but he's not been full-time with them until after the Olympics this year. And that's when he'll be full-time. So in fairness to him, he's still got a chance yet.
He's still got a chance. Yeah, it was a really chance showing. It was just a really awkward showing, and so far it's just been really bumpy. It was really bad. Also, my honorable mention would be Mordecai. That guy was ass.
Oh yeah,
I'm sorry. That was ridiculous.
Mordecai.
Remember Mordecai? Yeah, him.
Yeah. Man, if we made a list of ass wrestlers, that'd be crazy, bro. Because I'm
gonna have to do a tier list of the worst wrestlers ever. I'm gonna have to do that.
I've got another one. Lars Sullivan.
Oh yeah, Lars Sullivan.
You know what? You're giving me a number one as well. What about what was Luke Keith signed as? What was his
Caval?
Caval.
Yeah, that was it. Caval. It was an awful. Yeah. But he's known to be like really bad. Like he doesn't work well with anybody. He's really hard to work with. So yeah,
Spirit Squad got to be there too. Mikey, whatever. All of them.
Hey, whoa! Did he discount Dexter?
Sorry, I got to defend that. They were awesome for their time. Definitely, they were awesome. I get they were all right. It's just that nothing happened with them afterwards.
That's fine though. I think we all agree though the worst signing of all is CM Punk returning.
All right, moving on. So of course, we talk facts here, not.
That's a fact, mate. Face to face.
It's not. Do any of you guys agree? Worst signings?
Yeah, they agree. Okay, move on. They agree. They move on.
That's the best sign. That's the best.
Move on.
Arguably one of the best signings, but yeah.
They agree. Thank you. They agree with me. Thank you. Moving on to the next
So
thing.
yeah,
please.
facts. Let's speak facts because
Cool.
Soul
Yeah,
is living
so-
in a lying bubble right now.
My safe space.
Exactly.
Leave me alone.
Oh God. Anyway, moving on. Okay. So, let me know your thoughts in the comments as well, everybody. Who you think is actually WWE's worst signing? Do you agree with any of ours, or what's your thoughts on those? Wrapping it up. Before we go, we're gonna do a little quick game, and that is, of course, guess the WWE pay-per-view. But we're doing it in a version of 20 questions. I think previously I've done it via the video games, but I thought let me switch it up a bit, and then now we got to guess an actual pay-per-view, and also bonus points if you can guess the year as well. All right, so yeah,
I love this. I love this. Chaos makes us go at each other's throats for an hour. Now we have to team up.
I know.
Ah.
That's the exercise, isn't it? I love it.
Guys, remember as well, we need to discuss before we ask a question. We need to decide whether or not we want to use it. We only have 20 of them.
Well, fire and fuck the safety rules.
So yeah,
Right.
20 questions. You get. I'll give you a yes or no answer, and then once you answer, if you use all your 20, you gotta give me an answer or not. So yeah, time starts now. Go.
Right, can I go with the first question?
Wait, what's it going to be?
What is the question going to be?
It's going to be about the big four. It's going to be about the big four, so we can identify it down.
No, I'd before you even do that, I'd say is the pay-per-view before or after the year 2005 or something like that. Because that would then change it drastically, wouldn't it?
Yeah, because there's a lot of older pay-per-views prior to that. I feel like it's
Okay,
gonna
yes,
be
no way.
a,
You want to ask that, Allison?
I feel like it's a niche pay-per-view.
Okay, is it before or after 2020? Is it before or after 2005?
Before or after?
Is it
Does the
before
pay-
or
does
after?
the pay-per-view
You gotta
end?
ask which one. Which one is it? I can't say before or
Oh,
after.
Yes or no question.
Oh, is
right?
it before 2005?
No. I have to think
Okay.
about that.
Okay, well,
Is it one of the big four, which is Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, Money in the sorry, what's the big four again? I don't fucking watch
Survivor
this shit anymore.
Series,
Survivor
Royal Rumble,
Series,
SummerSlam,
Slam,
WrestleMania.
or WrestleMania.
Yes, that.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's gonna be
Right,
probably.
guys, I have.
I've got
I'm
it.
not
I've got
guessing
it.
this.
Is it a Saudi show?
No.
Wait,
Okay.
let's be a bit.
You
thingy with
brought
these
the questions a little
Let's break
quickly
it
now, buddy.
down,
I'm
right?
drunk. What do you want from me?
Hold
Now,
up.
I have a feeling, we're not guessing this. I have a feeling it's bragging rights. I don't know why, but that's my feeling. Now, let's try and. How about, is it still an active pay per view? Should we say that?
Yeah,
Yes.
go ahead.
Good question.
Is it still an active pay per view?
No.
Okay.
That narrows it down.
That narrows it down to a lot. Oh, man.
Does it
Can we
though?
ask if it was
Does
one?
yeah, it
one
Nah,
narrows it down by like 12, by like 11. But yeah, it's narrowed
Can
it
we
down.
ask if it was a one-time pay-per-view event?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Chaos. Was it a one-time pay-per-view event?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so that rules out, I think, bragging rights.
Well, no, Bragging
That's not
Rights
questions,
Bragging Rights was a one-time pay-per-view event, wasn't it?
Was it? I thought it was.
Do not Google. No Googling.
Okay,
no,
no
you're
Googling.
right.
Don't worry about
You're
it.
right, Alison. I think Bragging Rights was a 2-year pay-per-view
Nah, I think
because they had the one with the Nexus, and then didn't CM Punk leap one as well in like a faction warfare, if I'm correct.
Yeah, one was Raw versus SmackDown.
I've got a good one, right? Was this pay-per-view presidential themed?
that's what I was gonna think too.
Is that a question?
Yes.
No.
So it's not capital punishment.
Okay, I think we should have said, is it American theme? Because at least then there would have been a couple of options. So it's not active. It's a one-time pay-per-view.
It was after 2005.
I mean, we have like Armageddon. No, that was a multi-year one though.
I had a
What about
bunch of them.
what about it something like Fatal 4-Way or Breaking Point?
Fatal 4. Oh, here's a good one. Was it a stipulation pay-per-view?
Is it? I think I know it. I think we even talked about it earlier.
No, wait, don't.
But I won't give
No,
the
no,
final.
no,
Yeah, but
Chaos,
look,
answer that
is it a stipulation pay-per-view, Chaos?
No.
Okay, so it's not fatal four-way then.
Okay. It was not Breaking Point as well, because Breaking Point was all about submissions, right?
God, that was so stupid.
How many questions do we have on? How many have we burnt out so far?
7, right?
Yeah, you've burned 7.
So it's after 2005. It's not one of the big 4. It's not a stipulation pay-per-view. It's definitely not Capital Punishment.
It's only
Was the main event? Did this pay-per-view have any women's matches on it?
Fuck's sake.
Oh, that's 2. Okay.
Man has to
Is-
fucking
What?
figure it.
Uno momento.
I'm guessing your one doesn't have a women's match on it, Shard.
It does.
Well, it doesn't narrow it down then.
Should have said if it was a main event.
Yeah, your question. Yes, it does.
I'll ask this: did the women main event?
Narrow it down.
I don't know how that narrows down. Was it main of? No.
It wasn't main event, so it's not Evolution then. So it's not Evolution.
I was thinking Evolution. That's why.
So it's not Saudi, not stipulation pay-per-view. It's not one of the big 4. It's after 2005.
Do we going back in again and say is it after 2010 or something? Like
Yes, I think that's a fair one as well.
Yeah,
Is it
that'll
after
narrow it.
2010, Chaos.
Yes, that's 10 questions.
Okay, that's good now, guys. We just need to make sure we're talking because all of us, I think, know the pay-per-views after 2010. So one
Yeah, I was being
time
nice.
only. Pardon?
I was being nice. Go on.
So I'm thinking like Payback, Stomping Ground.
Now payback, stomping ground. Oh, you might have got it. So okay, we need to keep stomping ground in our back pocket there. We need
No
to keep-
googling.
Wait,
Yeah, I'm
wait,
not-
I've got it. I know.
No, don't ask. Don't
What?
ask. What do you think it is, Sol?
I was gonna say, was Kofi Kingston champion on this pay-per-view? Because then it might be Stomping Ground.
Yeah, but there's no other ones it could have been, which were one time when Kofi was champion. So that's too specific again. At that point, I'd say, is it after 2015?
Yeah, do you want to ask that?
Is it
Yeah.
after 2015?
Yes.
Okay,
Okay,
I think
it might be stomping ground.
we're getting warmer on that.
I mean,
How many
Stomping
do we have
Ground
left?
was Stomping Ground was.
Got like
You have 9
7.
questions.
That's fair enough.
There's also what was the other one? Great Balls of Fire as well. Great Balls of Fire and Stomping Ground are 2, which it could have been.
Who was the main event on Great Balls of Fire?
Wasn't it Brock Lesnar versus Samoa Joe for the Universal Championship?
It was either that or a Fatal 4-Way, but it included those 2. Yeah, I thought maybe it was that or one pay-per-view was the Fatal 4-Way, but that might mean SummerSlam. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it was Joe Lesnar. Yeah, but
Do you want to ask the Kofi one? Because that just eliminates things outright, and it kind
Yeah,
of
was he
eliminates.
definitely champion during Stomping Ground.
Yeah, it was him and Dolph Ziggler in a steel cage because I watched it last night.
Oh, okay, never mind.
That's why it's fresh in your mind right now.
Yeah, surprisingly enough, of all the fucking pay-per-views. Do you mind if I ask it?
Yeah, fuck it.
Was Kofi Kingston champion on the pay-per-view? WWE champion.
My thing's frozen. No.
Okay, so it's not Stomping Ground then because
Wait a second. So the fact that he was looking that up makes me think that it
Not
was
my-
one around that
I wasn't
time.
looking it up. I was thinking in my head. I wasn't thinking it was.
So just to
Oh.
confirm to us, just to confirm, Kofi Kingston was not WWE was
No.
not
WWE
WWE
champion.
champion. He wasn't WWE champion, right?
So, okay, guys. Firstly, before we ask any more, can anybody think of any others after 2015 that were one-time pay-per-views that wasn't Great Balls of Fire?
I'm drawing blank.
Battleground.
That was multi-time.
That was multi pay-per-views.
What about
Maybe.
what was that Indian Superstar one? Was that a pay-per-view?
No, that wasn't a pay-per-view. It wasn't a pay-per-view. So if he's gone with that, that was not a
He's
pay-per-view.
technicality fucked himself there, so that's good to know.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wait, should we ask
Hopefully
him if
he's
it's
not going
wait,
NXT.
we ask him if it's NXT because what if it's NXT?
yeah, they have a bunch of those.
Yeah, is it NXT?
No.
Okay,
that's
thank
fine.
fuck.
That
It's not
eliminates a lot of those.
Okay,
the
so
Great Ball of Fire is is something possible.
During the pandemic, did they have any weird ones?
There was the Extreme Rules horror one. There was
I hope he's not
Corporate
counting.
Office.
It's not stipulation.
Night of
Nah.
Champions. No. So we confirmed it's after 2015, right?
They haven't
Yeah.
they honestly haven't had like a really like new one for a little while now.
Yeah, they haven't, because you had, especially not one which wasn't a stipulation.
Oh, what if it's Clash of the Castle?
Oh shit!
It's a good one.
Clash at the Castle. Was there any other international ones? So no. So Clash at the. Here we are. Chaos.
Ask if it's international.
Was it a pay-per-view outside of the United States?
No. You got 5 questions left.
Oh, you bastard.
I think it might be Great Balls of Fire.
Should I ask it?
Hang on. Should we ask if? I'm pretty sure the main event was Joe versus Lesnar.
Should we just ask if Brock Lesnar was in the main event of it?
Yeah.
Was Brock Lesnar in the main event of the pay-per-view?
Yes.
Okay.
Can we ask it? Was it Great Balls of Fire?
No, it's not.
What? Shit! Okay, we have 3 questions. Okay, guys.
No, it's done. No. You're done. That's it.
What?
No, you only get 1 chance, bro. Come on.
What was it?
The main event was Brock Lesnar versus Big E, Bobby Lashley.
Day one.
Day one.
Yep, day one.
Sorry. Sorry. Playing the game.
That's my bad. I didn't realize we only had 1 guess, even though I'd done this before.
Sorry.
So close.
That was the fucking first show me and you ever fucking reviewed.
Yeah, it was.
I'm so mad I did not get that. I forgot about that because it was on wasn't that on like Raw?
Wait, the main event wasn't Big E versus Lesnar. It was Big E, Brock, Seth, Bobby.
That's what I said.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Nah,
Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, Bobby Lashley. Yeah, all of them.
Yeah.
Fatal 5-way match.
Damn,
Unlucky, guys.
Well,
very, very, very
that's
close.
ruined my day. I've now got to go and catch some more flies.
With your mouth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Better luck next time. So far, no one has won that one yet. So yeah, it's the streak keeps on going. So,
make me in charge of this. I'll put a Ring of Honor pay-per-view and make you all fucking sweat.
Yeah, that's not making us sweat. That's just making us lose.
Oh my goodness! Imagine. Anyway, thank you very much, Soul. Thank you very much, Ben Allison. Thank you very much, Shad, for joining us on this very fiery episode of Take It to the Table. It's been fun with you as always. Everyone, make sure, like I said, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you'll be notified for every episode of Take It to the Table, as well as the Daily Show, as well as Wrestling Off the Air on every Tuesday, and obviously the Daily Show, which is on every day. The clue's in the name. And yeah, that's all we have, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time, guys, I have been your host, Chaos. Peace. Catch more flies, Ben.